Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to LEGO MARVEL Avengers. So we did the main story, got the credits, and I found the main story missions particularly bad, frankly. And now we got dropped into either a Season Pass DLC that is going to cover the bad guys side of the story, or the events of the next chronological Marvel movie after Avengers 1, or maybe the next Captain America movie. I'm not really sure. We're playing as Baron Strucker, and they've gotten Loki's scepter, and they're going to use it on the two X-Men twins. And that's about as far as we have gotten. I thought we might very well just get knocked out to the third to the open world at this point, and I was kind of looking forward to that. I'm not really sure what Loki's scepter, like what its powers and its limitations really are, and why that would potentially power up these two X-Men twins. But also it does definitely build up this scenario where those are the only two X-Men characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universes, and they just don't ever call them X-Men. And they were going to bring in Inhumans to replace the X-Men. In fact, Marvel Comics basically created Inhumans to replace the X-Men for the Cinematic Universe. And they tried that in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, and it never made it to the Cinematic Universe. Whereas pretty much everything in the Agents Marvel, the Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show did not make its way.
With the right focus, we believe this crystal has the potential to reactivate the Chitauri technology recovered from New York.
So they're messing with the Chitauri technology also, but it's very ridiculous that you would have to walk forward. Like, this level started where I was. So the idea that you wouldn't even be able to know where you're going and what you're supposed to do until you walk into a certain area is kind of ridiculous. Let's see if this is just a step on the two switches. Nope. There's a puzzle here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So you just had to copy the colors from the left to the end.
Contrary to our first thoughts, the creature cannot fly by itself. The flight is gained from Chitauri technology in its armor. If we can find to harness this.
It's kind of ridiculous. So they're saying that metallic spaceship that looked like a creature is actually a creature. Okay. And the game has gone kind of full circle, because we started the game playing as the good guys, defeating these bad guys and collecting the things from here, collecting the Loki scepter. So I'm really not sure if the events that we're seeing right now happened at the beginning of the game from the perspective, or slightly before the beginning of the game from the perspective of the bad guys, or if this is just happening at the very end of the game. And here we have a shield door, and these are Hydra agents. And then over there they have a Hydra door.
After you, Herr Strucker.
Access granted.
Which it seems like this guy can pretend to be S.H.I.E.L.D., just like almost all Hydra agents can pretend to be S.H.I.E.L.D. Which inevitably means that you're better off playing as a Hydra agent in almost any scenario where you need to play as a shield agent.
We're opening the gateway to the future, and Hydra will be the first.
Hmm.
Yeah, Yeti's doing Hydra's good work around the world.
Hmm.
We'll hit them with Captain America's got a few friends. Keep them off our scent.
I suppose there is an argument that could be made here that had they made a game based on the TV series, they'd have a lot more material to get audio files from.
Access granted.
Soon we will have weapons that
But
only the Avengers can hope to stand against.
that's not something that they would have really been able to do until very lately. And if you were going to make a LEGO game based on the Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series, then you'd have 5 seasons there. You'd have to decide what parts of those seasons are actually worth retelling. Left, right. This is only the 4th time in the entire game that we've done this mini-game. But I guess in the open world we'll probably end up doing all of those mini-games multiple times. 10, 20 times.
And barely have even scratched the surface. It exudes the same dissipated energy we recorded in the recovered Hydra weapons. We might have found a way to power them. This technology will help us change the world.
So the magic scepter is apparently technology, according to the whole show. The idea that there's a technology though that lets you hypnotize and give visions to people, but also can be used to power other things is questionable. It really feels more like magic than any kind of soft science compared to like a hard science, which not very many people are interested in hard sci-fi at all. So we just ejected Wanda from this carrier pod into a cell. So yeah, this really feels like a flashback, not a event that would have happened after the movie.
Has unlocked within him a speed matched only by his fury.
And again, they're trying to be a little comedic, but they're not really succeeding.
They have extraordinary gifts. Harnessed in the right way, they can be extraordinary weapons.
This almost feels like this should have been a tutorial level at the beginning of the game, playing as the bad guys. That'd be weird.
Stark Tower's had quite a few upgrades lately and is now known as Avengers Tower, which, seeing as it's the headquarters for Earth's mightiest heroes, kind of makes sense. Hawkeye can recover in the advanced medical lab while the Iron Legion are repaired in the workshop below.
I still don't
Now that
feel
Strucker's
like
been stopped and Loki's scepter has been recovered, I have a feeling things will be pretty quiet around here for a while.
I still don't feel like they really used Avengers Tower as much as they should have.
Who gave the order to attack?
Here's Strucker. It's the Avengers.
They have to be after the scepter.
And see, this was the first level. And that had to have been a flash forward, I guess, because they were all assembled at that point, weren't they? Yeah, they put that level in the totally wrong place. This is probably the first time there's ever been a flash forward in a LEGO game. And
Been after this thing since S.H.I.E.L.D. collapsed.
This brings it to a close.
it doesn't
As soon as we find out what
explain.
it's been used for. I don't just mean weapons. Since when is Strucker capable of human enhancement?
Banner and I'll give it the once over before it goes back to Asgard. Is that cool with you? Just a few days till the farewell party.
Yes, of course. Victory should be honored with rebels.
Yeah, I'm totally confused about what chronologically even happened in that first level. That must have been a flash forward level. And Why is our character speaking Korean?
Got 'em.
The two enhanced?
Wanda and Pietro Maximoff.
Like,
twins.
that seems weird.
Orphaned at 10 when a shell collapsed their apartment building.
That's also, I think, the first time we've had someone speak a different language in a LEGO game.
They're gonna show up again.
You sure he's gonna be okay?
If you brought him to my lab, the regeneration cradle could do this in 20 minutes.
I'm gonna be made of plastic.
You'll be made of you, Mr. Barton. Your own girlfriend won't be able to tell the difference.
Dr. Helen Cho, a character that apparently was important at one point and was quickly forgotten. And here you have a bunch of Iron Man robots, which that concept never got used in the cinematic universe well enough.
Jarvis, it's playtime. We've got a couple days with this joystick, so let's make the most of it.
The scepter is alien. The jewel appears to be a protective housing for something inside. Like a
Now, I don't know if one of these is the Infinity Stones, and I don't know if the scepter was one of the Infinity Stones or not. Very possibly it was, but very possibly it wasn't.
What's the rumpus? Well, the scepter. You see, we were wondering how Strucker got so inventive. So I've been analyzing the gem.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, once again, I don't know what chronologically is happening now. Are we telling the exact same movie from side story sections now? Or are we being told the story of the Avengers too? That definitely puts you in a weird position. I can tell you this feels like this might have been a second game developed by a different team, because we haven't seen any icons on circles even. So that's a whole new gameplay concept that we haven't seen. We're also seeing glowing blue studs. And I guess since Bannon and Tony Stark can't transform, they don't have a lot of abilities. So they're kind of back to where they were. But we're not in an actual level either. This is a thing that LEGO games tend to do, is they tend to break games in half and sell them as separate products, and perhaps in this one case they couldn't even get that far because they didn't have enough content to justify that. Alright, we've got something here we can build.
In Strucker's lab, I saw some fairly advanced robotics. I gotta guess he was knocking on a very particular door.
There, that has to be controlled by Wanda. And this would need to be controlled by a Hydra agent. Well, all of a sudden we are in a level because we have the True Avengers bar at the top. Interesting. I guess I was wrong about that. Guess I can fix this because I do have fixing abilities. I'll have to hold down the B button to do it. And then that opens up over there. Okay. Let's see. There is no way you would know that. You just have to run around and play with things. So am I controlling this robot? I guess I am. Yeah, I guess that's what that logo means. Which we didn't do any of this in the main game. Which definitely makes us feel like a different team made this. It might just be a case that there was a general desire to rush through the first Avengers movie, and this is just how they decided to do it, is just have a story section that was pretty bad. But that would have been a really bad design choice, because now we have several hours into the game experienced what we're kind of hoping is the worst part of the content, and that it will just be better content going forward. This level definitely feels a lot more like a LEGO level, where there's lots of things to do, lots of things to hit, lots of things to break and get studs from. And I don't know what we're actually picking up here. It looks like some kind of key cards or something. Maybe computer cards to stick inside.
Jarvis, Doctor. Started out, Jarvis was just a natural language line. Now he runs the Iron Legion. He runs more of the business than anyone besides Pepper. Top of the line.
Yes? I suspect not for long.
So at a certain point, Jarvis's AI becomes part of Vision, and maybe they at some point recover the part that was Jarvis back out of Vision. Here we have a interesting visual of building Legos. Maybe we'll see that cutscene, that mini game, multiple times. I didn't have to press any buttons though, I just was holding down the X. Yeah, this definitely feels like the second Avengers movie.
Meet the competition. It's beautiful. You had to guess, what's it look like?
Like it's thinking. Artificial intelligence.
I don't know where the other one comes from.
Apply it to my Iron Legion protocol.
That's a man-sized if.
I guess that there was an artificial intelligence in Loki's staff. It seems so ridiculous that they would even bother to study Loki's staff. Or why the Avengers would do that, but alright.
What did we miss?
I'll continue to run variations on the interface.
Thanks, buddy.
Enjoy yourself, sir.
I always do.
What is this, please?
Hello, I am Jarvis. You are
Ultron.
I'm a peacekeeping program created to help the Avengers.
Ah.
You are malfunctioning. Peace in our time.
Oh, so this is Avengers Age of Ultron.
Allow me to contact Mr. Stark.
You call him Sir.
I think that was the
To be hostile.
next one. I guess Age of Ultron may have been the next one. So yeah, Tony Stark. I didn't watch Age of Ultron. Boy, does the Avengers Tower look a lot bigger all of a sudden. At least this room does.
I'm no expert, Stark, but shouldn't a party have entertainment? Refreshments?
Interesting to have a party and then have repeated people, because we weren't seeing that in the overworld. And then you have like a repeated person here and repeated person here. I guess they only had so many hair sets they wanted to use in this room to make sure that there's this many people. There is actually quite a lot of people in this room compared to how bad the LEGO engine has been in the past as far as how many could actually be on screen at one time. So, like, there is definitely some texture problems. And there's Falcon getting introduced as just a character that totally wasn't even in the previous movie or previous part of the game. So I guess we just are going to have all of Age of Ultron. War Machine.
Boom, you looking for this? Yeah, just keep on telling it. A tank. We get it, Rhodey.
So I think it's fair to point out here with Falcon and War Machine being introduced and just looking at just random people, there's a lot more African or African American, let's just call them black people, in the Marvel universe at that point, whereas it had been fairly one tone in white people, and they adjusted for that fairly well. They still haven't really adjusted greatly as far as female main characters. Here you can see the Black Widow swooning over Bruce Banner, and she's been boiled down to just a love interest. And then there's just a ton of people. I don't even know why you would put so many people in the corner here. You can't even see them. So why copy 3 or 4 people like that? And we have inflatable balloons of Iron Man. See, it was with the Age of Ultron, in part, that they get to the Sokovia attacks. So, I definitely see that this probably will try to build up to Civil War, but not include Civil War. And then there would have, I suppose, been a thought to make a LEGO Marvel Civil War game, but I don't think that they're going to do that. I think it didn't sell well enough. Interesting. It just flipped over those people. So that just eliminated some people. Interesting. I can't shoot those parts. Again, a lot of people here blocking the way, and that at least makes some sense. Tony Stark can just break his own apartment, I imagine. Decent amount of things that you can hit, but a decent amount of things that won't break also. So, who can I switch to? I have Maria Hill, who can scan. I suppose it does open up a bit of an issue of, like, what can you do if you have a great idea for Age of Ultron and that's what you want to actually make as a game, but it wouldn't really make sense unless you covered, well, you could have probably skipped the entirety of the Avengers story and just had a LEGO Age of Ultron, because they pretty much skipped Iron Man, which was the setup for the Avengers. That's a Quicksilver spot, so we can't even do that. Let's see, charge up the player piano. He's just playing the same Marvel music piano.
Ladies, H to the I to the LL, what?
So that got rid of Thor, and now we're down to 4 people. And take note that there are 4 people we're switching between, whereas previously, up until this point, they've been using the engine that could only handle 2 people possible co-op players. No, that doesn't mean the game turns into a 4-player co-op game. It just means they can program a couple of people to follow and turn into artificial intelligence as AI co-op players. Alright. I don't think I can open that. You have kind of a nice stationary background through the window, but you still also have a issue there with all LEGO games where they aren't actually showing you anything LEGO. Like, besides the 2 minifigs you see on the screen right now, the rest of the game just looks like a computer game. And honestly, at a certain point, that might be the way that some of these games should go, is that they should just abandon the LEGO elements and just make kid games. I'm holding down the B button for that. And we've just found a character token, 1 of 3 in this level, which we haven't found any of that before. Yeah, definitely can tell in free play mode you'll be able to do more. Just don't know what I'm supposed to be breaking. The game is still kind of bad about that, where up until this point it has been very, very bad about telling you nothing as far as where your goal is or what you're supposed to be accomplishing. And this is a fairly small enough area. Am I supposed to be picking up this 1 milkshake? They're playing the milkshake joke quite hard. Alright. We can break this back one. But she can't do anything with grenades. Oh, she can she do anything with this? I need to figure out how to put Tony Stark in an Iron Man outfit. This would be funny if it spun you around. And it kinda does. But I don't think you can get perfectly where you need to be to get fully spinning in circles. Do I need to maybe break this stuff that looks just so generic? Just need to go on a standard LEGO fact-finding mission. Still does feel like what a modern LEGO game should feel like. A lot more things to break, a little bit more fluidity in the gameplay. It kind of feels like a different version of the engine is running now. Things do seem to feel like they're faster. But maybe I'm wrong about all of that, and maybe I just feel like it's that way because I've been given something new and different and I'm being helpful. Alright, well, is there some way we could get Bruce Banner mad? That way we could get the Hulk. Interesting. So, apparently, the game completely failed to tell you to hold the Y button to swap to Iron Man. So if she holds down Y and if he holds down Y, nothing happens. But if I hold down Y as Tony Stark, then I go into a selection of several different Iron Man options. Well, that sucks. That just straight up is doing the same problem that the rest of the game has had. Like, let's just go in the options and double check. Hints always on, except I feel like hints were supposed to be always on anyways. It seems like it kind of reset it. And you totally needed those hints, and even that dynamic, it still wasn't giving me the hints that I needed. And I would like to point out that holding down Y to swap to a different outfit is not a consistent thing for the other LEGO games. So there is a point. There is no argument really to be made to say that's just something I should know because I've played other LEGO games. I had to move to Mark 43 to get the laser beams. So some of the versions of the Iron Man suit don't seem to have the abilities. And that's just pouring out a ridiculous amount of Lego pieces. See how the Lego building now feels like it kind of sped up in the middle there? Where it was just incredibly consistent in its pacing and slow in its pacing previously. We are on a different engine. More than likely there was 2 teams, and one team was the A team and the other team was the B team, and one did a much better job as far as their Avengers story to tell.
No, it's much more than that. But please be my guest. You know I've seen this before, right?
Smell the silent judgment?
Please, Stark, by all means.
So they try to pick up the hammer and establish that none of them can pick it up. Hulk can't pick it up at the moment. Now, if there is an Ultron AI inside of Loki's scepter, then there probably is a AI inside Mjolnir, the hammer. Which I guess maybe that is the truth. And the Ultron just shows up.
Who sent you?
I see a suit of armor around the world.
Ultron.
In the flesh. I'm on a mission.
What mission?
Peace in our time.
So Ultron has determined that there can't be peace with the Avengers around, which I guess that kind of gets proven in Civil War.
Sorry, I know you mean well. You just didn't think it through.
But yeah, compared to the first Avengers movie, they make a lot of corrections here in this story by just establishing very early who the bad guys are as Ultron and Right, so who are we playing as? Hawkeye and And I guess at some point Hawkeye lost his legs and they didn't explain that. I guess maybe that happened in the previous movie? Or yeah, it must have happened at some point and they just kind of overlooked it. I feel like even the prompt to save there was faster. So break all these sonic things. Gotta break everything we can, I suspect. I kind of have less to say at the moment because we're actually playing a good level that actually has me somewhat intrigued, and I kind of know what's going on. You still get those. This one you have to tap B. So now Captain has a shield, so we can play as him, and they just shift the focus. You still are running into the problem of an ensemble cast for a video game. It's just far too many people. Even if you were playing something like a Dungeons and Dragons game where there was 5 or 6 people playing, that's too many. You need at most 4 main characters. Right, let's go ahead and hit this and activate that and see whatever that did. I dumped out a bunch of Lego pieces. You have Tony Stark fighting people. I'm not sure what really triggered this cutscene. Let's go ahead and build this. And then I think I'm supposed to go up here and use a bounce. No glitching, no problems getting that jump. All I'm having to do is press A to blow those things up and to make the jumps. That's nice. We're building an Avengers object of some sort. Apparently I can't activate that. Apparently only Maria Hill can activate that. They are trying to make Maria Hill much more of a character than I think she really was. And that gives an Iron Man suit to Tony Stark. Let's see what he's fixing something back behind the pole, but I don't know what he's fixing. But somehow that freed Thor. There's still some problems here. Definitely can see that. There's a lot going on. Things are not. The camera's not focusing in the right place. It's way too easy to be just confused as to what your goal is and what is supposed to be happening. And I am still very confused as to how did we get from playing as the bad guys in Strucker to moving into Age of Ultron. Like, there's not enough connective tissue between these things. And yes and no, the game is prompting me to press Y. They want me to play as Thor. Now we can hit Ultron in his first body. There's a bit of a problem with that cutscene loading. It paused for a second.
That was dramatic. You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change. How is humanity saved if it's not allowed to evolve? Look at these puppets. There's only one path to peace: the Avengers' extinction. I had strings, but now I'm free. There are no strings on.
So I guess maybe there were some robots being built at the Hydra facility. So I don't know if we got a full story here, or if we're just going to do a few levels around the general concept of Age of Ultron, or if maybe we even have some stories that skip right past the rest of Age of Ultron. I guess AOU now, we know what that stands for. It stands for Age of Ultron. So if I could get to a character selection screen, it might be able to get a general idea of how far the story's going to go. It can't go that far. We're not getting all the way to endgame. And even though we saw credits, it's still telling us to continue the story. So I guess we will just... They have some kind of chronological order in which they want you to play the levels. Well, that was better. A little bit better. There's still some problems though. Lack of hints, lack of pointing a player towards what they're supposed to do after they've gotten stuck and they've just run around and done nothing. Kind of a lack of connective tissue as far as the storylines. I wouldn't have minded seeing some cutscenes. Frankly, I wouldn't even mind if it was just a talking head style, visual novel style dialogue where a character, just Maria Hill, gets on the screen and explains what's going on and what had happened in the meantime between the Avengers movie and Age of Ultron. But yeah, they didn't do that. But the actual gameplay does feel more polished. The level design feels a little bit better. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to further follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a gift card or a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.